It is a picture-perfect day for college football. The weekend kicking off in Manhattan, Kansas. An early start at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. It is the West Virginia Mountaineers taking on the K-State Wildcats. Hello, everyone. So glad you could spend part of your Saturday with us, with my partner, the great Robert Smith. I am Eric Collins. And this is going to be a good one. We've got a team that's red hot in Kansas State. They've won 3 consecutive games. And, Robert, I'm excited to talk running backs with you. They got a good one in Deuce.
Deuce is a great one, and being a couple of Cleveland guys, we know this all too well. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And at 5'6", 100.
That is. All right, let's talk about West Virginia. West Virginia, last week, the offense was non-existent in their loss against Oklahoma State, but the defense, for the most part, all season long, they've been consistently led by Dante Stills.
Dante Stills is disruptive. It's bad for the classroom, but it's good if you're a defensive lineman. He's got the size, he's got the speed, he has got the power, and they move him around in stunts all the time. So Kansas State better be ready. They better find out where Dante Stills is at all times and try and get some extra hats on him, because both in the run game and in the pass game, he can make some noise.
West Virginia a winner in this game a year ago. All right, let's do it. Saturday afternoon in the Big 12, we've got Mountaineers, we've got Wildcats. We'll kick it off in just a moment. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Edward Jones. Life is for living. Let's partner for all of it. It is 40 degrees and sunny in Manhattan, Kansas. Just a slight wind. You come to Kansas in November and you're thinking maybe more than 4-mile-an-hour winds, but nope, that's all we got, 4-mile-an-hour winds.
And they're thankful for that too. You get those winds whipping through there, especially when it's 40 degrees. You get those first chills of the year. You don't want that wind blowing through you.
West Virginia's going to start on offense, and Winston Wright calls for the fair catch, and Jarret Doege and the West Virginia Mountaineers will touch the football. And Robert, they're looking forward to kind of erasing some bad memories from a week ago.
Man, that Oklahoma State defense played in the West Virginia backfield all day long. Doege and this offense could never really get on track. Just about 130 yards of offense in that one. You compare that to the Iowa State game earlier in the year, another great defense, and they got more than 150 yards, more than any offense against that defense. So they need to get back on track this week, do a much better job up front.
Game starts on the ground. This is Leddie Brown showing some power right up the gut. Bangs forward for a real good gain. Russ Yeast on the tackle.
Leddie Brown, when you watch him on film, I just love it. This guy runs with an absolute fury. Couple of names, people are going to be like, what? Adrian Peterson, Leonard Fournette. That type of attitude when he's running the football. He also splits out wide sometimes, so he'll catch the ball on the exterior as well.
All right, we trust you, Robert. We trust you on that. Here we go. They fake it to Brown. Quick hitter. Oh, it's a missed opportunity. The ball's picked off. Russ Yeast has got it, and Kansas State takes advantage of a mistake. Winston Wright, he had what should have been a big gainer for West Virginia. Can't hang on, and the ball is picked.
Just got to hang on to that one. I mean, not much more that you can say about it. See, Doege gets the ball to him, maybe a little bit high, maybe a little bit behind him, but that's just a ball that you have to bring in, right? Obviously needs to bring that one in, but a nice job by Yeast tracking that ball. Tips and overthrows. The defense always has those in mind, because that's when you can get that INT.
So Kansas State, winners of 3 consecutive games. They're going to start on offense with wonderful field position. Skylar Thompson doing his work, the veteran signal caller, having a good year. Deuce Vaughn deep in the backfield. They give it to Vaughn. His first rush right up the gut, and Vaughn barrels inside the 40 to the 39-yard line.
And you can see that acceleration from Deuce Vaughn right there. They're going to lead up with a couple of backfield mates right here. You get the tight end and the fullback pulling around. You get a nice block. from your right tackle, Christian Duffy, but Deuce Vaughn does the rest. He just accelerates so quickly. And you talk about his size at 5'6", he is difficult for the second and third level of the defense to identify when he gets the ball, and he bursts through there.
And he's got some anger to deal with. He had a difficult game a year ago against West Virginia. Wants to atone. Down to the 35-yard line. Let's talk a little bit more about the quarterback, Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, and offensive coordinator Courtney Messingham has talked about the way that Skylar Thompson has really developed this year and really understands much better what defenses are trying to do against him. And of course, he meets with Chris Kleiman, the head coach, about 45 minutes each week, and that's what they talk about. So he is really understanding this offense at a total and getting everybody on the same page.
Second down at 5. Fake it to Vaughn. Thompson's pass, little check down. It's complete, short of the line to get. Landry Weber with the catch. Let's talk about that offense in its entirety for Kansas State.
Yeah, Noah Johnson, the center. He's one of the captains on this team. And the offensive coordinator, Courtney Messingham, talked about that left side of the line in particular. Very solid there. And then, of course, you see Deuce Vaughn back there. But Malik Knowles, you see him some in the return game. Brooks as well. Imader Bebe, the tight end, he's got a couple of 60+ or 60-yard plus touchdowns this year. The big man can go.
9 catches. He's averaging 30 yards per grab. Third down and 1. And they go power with the smallest man on the field, and it works. Deuce Vaughn down to the 23. All right, West Virginia's defense up against it right now. We talked about Dante Stills to begin our ball game. Stills coming into this ball game with 6 sacks, 11.5 tackles for losses. And Linnell Carr, this is the first career start for Linnell Carr at one of the linebacker spots. And there's your secondary.
Yeah, and this is a stout defense. They also run that 3-3-5. A lot of movement up front, but this K-State offense doing a nice job getting blockers to the point of attack so far.
Vaughn's out of the game. He's spelled by Joe Irvin. And Irvin doing a great impersonation of Vaughn. He barrels down to the 1-yard line. 22 yards for Joe Irvin.
He's not much bigger than Deuce Vaughn, but offensive coordinator Courtney Messingham talks about his attitude running the football. Not a big guy, but he said he will try to run you over, and watch it right there. Lower the pads, 2 players converge on him, run straight through that. He is all amped up. It's amazing. You have 2 guys, 5'6", 5'8", but again, man, it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. And you can see it right there from Irvin, getting it all the way down to the 2.
First and goal. Little pitch. Irvin. Touchdown. Kansas State. They made it look easy.
That was an impressive drive, and the thing that impressed me most about that drive was that Kansas State offensive line against that defensive line, the vaunted defensive line of West Virginia here. Just a little bit of a quick toss, and Jax Deneen driving up from the fullback position. Good old-fashioned ISO right there. And you go in untouched on the goal line. It's rare as a running back to do that. You know those guys up front are getting the job done.
Chris Tennant came on as the kicker a couple of weeks ago, nails the extra point. It's a 7-0 lead for Kansas State. L&L started with the turnover. Rush Yeast got it back for Kansas State, and then some power running scores the touchdown for the Wildcats.
What kind of day is it going to be in Manhattan, Kansas? Well, Jax Deneen is going to let this West Virginia Mountaineer defense know for sure. Watch this good old-fashioned isolation. Blocking his number mate, number 29, Sean Mahone for the defense says, come on, man, we're wearing the same number. It's going to be that kind of day? Yeah, it's going to be that kind of day. You better buckle up that chin strap. It's going to be a physical football today. Guy, he's got his hair like that. You know, it's what the only thing he's missing is a neck roll there. I mean, that's old school right there.
Let's take a look at the Edward Jones Team Go, FS1 College Football, sponsored by Edward Jones. Life's for living, partner for all of it. And looks like this is what you're thinking about, huh, Robert?
Yeah, you look at West Virginia, yes, you want to be able to establish a run. We can see that a little bit at the beginning. Find Deuce. They were able to find Deuce. They weren't able to stop him early. And then, if you're Kansas State, we saw it on that first drive. 3 carries for Deuce Vaughn. Get Deuce his touches, but you have to protect against the deep ball. And on that first drive, they were in position. West Virginia really should have been able to convert on that one. Looked like a similar play to what they had against Iowa State, similar type interception.
Mountaineers starting the 25 for the second consecutive time, and Letty Brown lets it out, gets down that right sideline, pushed out of bounds by McPherson, but a gain of 20.
Yeah, and they get Letty Brown the ball in a lot of different ways. Good old Statue of Liberty type play there. Just put it behind the back. They get him in jet sweep. Sometimes they line him up on the outside. Letty Brown's got a nice little stiff arm. He got introduced to the little folding chairs on the sideline right there. Protect yourself on that sideline.
Letty Brown with 11 touchdowns on the ground this season. Now tries the left side. A pickup of 4, maybe 5. Justin Gardner, the tackle. Let's talk about that West Virginia offense.
This is a big, physical offensive line for West Virginia. We talked about the key, getting that run game going. Those guys have got to be big today. We talked about Letty Brown. Watch for Bryce Ford Wheaton on the outside. He has made some incredible catches for this Mountaineer offense this year.
Right at the sticks. That'll be the first down. Catches made by the guy you're talking about, Ford Wheaton. Kansas State, they play that 3-3-5 alignment for coordinator Joe Klanderman.
And this is new for Joe Klanderman, and it's new for Chris Kleiman, the head coach. They had been a 4-down front team for so long, but you talk about the Big 12 and being able to account for this run pass option type offenses. Going to a 3-man front helps in that regard.
Flea flicker, got a man deep, and it is incomplete. Oh, good job by Rush East to come back and knock it away, because for the moment it looked like that was a huge gainer to Bryce Ford Wheaton.
And Daggy had him. You could see him lined up on the outside right here, and he slows down like he's going to block, and then he takes off right there. But you called it, partner. Yeast never gave up on that play. He fights all the way to the end, and you're in that trail position right there. You don't get your head back. Keep your eyes on the hands and the eyes of the receiver and fight through the ball.
Yeast rose to the occasion. On 2nd down and 10, that is a rush of just 2 yards.
And you didn't even have that in your notes, man. You just came up with that one on the fly. That's a pro's pro right there.
Daggy has had trouble this year with the interception. I'm not going to blame that one on the first drive for him, but he does have 9 picks on the year compared to what he did last year.
Yeah, he gets a little bit anxious sometimes back there, gets a little sloppy with his footwork, and that's when he makes those errant throws.
3rd down and 8, in trouble. Oh, he escaped the sack. Daggy living on borrowed time. It is incomplete. And there is a penalty flag on the field.
When you can see the pressure from this Kansas State defense, he does a nice job right there actually protecting the football, takes a look around and makes sure nobody's there to knock that ball away. And
no foul on the play for illegal touching. Number 4 on the offense was out of bounds due to contact. It's 4th down.
Our white hat, the referee, Brandon Cruz. So pick up the flag. We still have not had an official flag and penalty accepted so far in today's ball game.
And so Letty Brown, little scramble drill there. He sees that Daggy is trying to escape, so he runs up the sideline, got pushed out of bounds. But if he got pushed out of bounds and reestablishes himself back in the field of play, he can touch the ball. But I was saying there was a nice job by Daggy, really seeing where the defense was, making sure that he didn't lose that football. Is that a dangerous throw? Yes, but in that area of the field, even if that ball is intercepted, that's down at the 20-yard line.
Tyler Sumter's first punt, fair caught at the 11-yard line by Phillip Brooks. All right, we've got a timeout. With Robert Smith, I'm Eric Collins. This is the 2nd touch for Kansas State. They were undaunted first time they had the football. Deuce Vaughn. Nothing there. Shortest gain of the day. Tackle made by Taj Alston.
With the tackle number 95, Jordan Jefferson.
Let's take a look at Deuce Vaughn last few weeks.
A loss of 1.
Texas Tech, 120. Look at that. Kansas, week ago, 222 yards. About an 80-yarder in that one as well. So does a good job getting to the outside, getting into the open. But he's also got some juice, man. The guy can fly, as evidenced by that 80-yarder a week ago against Kansas.
Actually lost a yard. So it's 2nd down and 11. Thompson is fail-safe out in the flat. And Phillip Brooks. It'll bring up 3rd down after that gain of 5.
Well, a nice job in the secondary there from West Virginia, forcing Skylar Thompson to go to his outlet on that one. So you always have these chess matches in games, coordinator versus coordinator, and we saw what Kansas State was able to do, establish that run very quickly on that first drive and utilize that all the way down for the score. Here, stopped them on 1st down with the run, stopped them on 2nd down, good coverage in the secondary.
Thompson, that pass was tipped and picked off. West Virginia has the ball, maybe. There are flags down on the field. Exree Lowe has the interception for the moment.
A lot of flags around Skylar Thompson back there, so we'll see if there's some sort of roughing the passer on this one, or it could be a hold. But to have 3 flags come in like that, going to see what this was.
Well, it was 3rd down and 5.
Personal foul, roughing the passer with targeting. Defense number 8. That ruling of targeting is under review.
Vandarius Cowan, and this is huge. Oh, man.
Well, that's a textbook example of targeting right there. Lowers his head, helmet to helmet. This is clearly going to be an ejection, and just really not a smart play at all. The ball's away. You just can't dip your head like that in a situation where he's clearly gotten rid of the ball.
Well, Mike Pereira is part of the broadcast as well, and Mike just saw what we just saw. Mike, your thoughts on that play?
Well, this is why they put in this rule. I mean, they have to get hits like this out of the game. I mean, this is a blatant one and certainly deserves the disqualification. But again, you don't see him.
Play, ruling of targeting is confirmed. Number 8's disqualified by rule. Penalties 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
You seldom see it as blatant as this, but again, this is why they put in the rule, and this is why the rule will stay in, just to protect against hits like this.
Thank you, Mike. Now here it is.
Well, you're looking for those indicators, and you know, being a defenseless player, they're going to protect the quarterbacks. So any hit to the head or neck area would be targeting in a situation like that. But to have him dip his head like that and then go in to Skylar Thompson, I don't know if he hurt his shoulder or his rib there. He's hanging on to that left side, but he's going to be out of the game anyway.
So a huge break for Kansas State. Would have been an interception, but they still got the football, and they go right up the gut with Vaughn, and he powers forward for a nice gain on 1st down. Charles Woods makes the stop. Good to see Charles Woods out on the field. He was banged up in last week's game against Oklahoma State. Gain of 6. It'll bring up 2nd and 4.
And this Kansas State offense doing a nice job. They're running this power. They're getting those offensive linemen on the move. You see a lot of movement from that West Virginia front, and when you have that movement, you get guys to the point of attack.
And a slow developing play did not fool anyone. Jordan Jefferson got into the backfield and tackles Vaughn for a loss.
And Jordan Jefferson does a nice job knifing off of the edge here, and this play just never has a chance to develop. Jefferson just runs through there completely free to make that hit.
So it's a loss of a yard, 3rd down and 7. Four-man rush. Incomplete. Trying to throw a dart to Vaughn across the middle. I'm not sure if he would have had the line to gain, even if he made the catch. So Kansas State not nearly as fruitful on the second possession as they were in the first. They'll have to punt it away.
Oh, West Virginia did a nice job recovering from that targeting call. They could have gotten the ball back if it wasn't for that targeting call there. Nice job knifing through, making some plays in this Kansas State backfield and holding to get the ball back.
Ty Zentner will punt it away. Grant Malashevich had a muffed punt a week ago against Oklahoma State. Fields that one cleanly. It'll be West Virginia ball at the 21. So it'll be the 3rd offensive possession for West Virginia when we come back to Manhattan.
The best teams are.
Welcome back, everyone. Manhattan, Kansas. West Virginia has the football. And you look at the play distribution, the highest percentage of passes compared to runs in the Big 12, West Virginia.
Yeah, and I think that it's a little bit surprising when you look at that number that would be leading the Big 12, and everybody obviously thinks about the Big 12, talk about these high-flying, potent passing offenses, only 54% to lead the league. But I'll tell you what, much better defensive play this year in the Big 12 as well.
Letty Brown's running real well to begin this ball game.
There's a penalty flag on the play.
Gain of 9, maybe. There's a flag down.
That's going to be on
Personal foul, chop block, offense numbers 54 and 64. Half the distance to the goal. It's 1st down.
The center, Zach Frazier, and the right tackle, Wyatt Milam.
Well, you can see Spencer Trussell down on the ground there. It's going to be right here.
Yeah.
And he goes down low, and then you've got somebody up high. That's such a dangerous play, and very good that they have that in as a rule. That's the kind of play that you're looking to avoid right there, and unfortunately Spencer Trussell was injured.
So Trussell is down, and we will step away. This will be a quick one. We'll be back in just a moment.
Today.
Spencer Trussell being helped to the Kansas State sideline.
And again, you just hate to see a player injured on a play like that, and that's why the rule's in there. It's so dangerous because you've got a defender, you're engaged with one offensive lineman, got another offensive lineman going low, and it looked like that was just the design of the play. I don't even understand why you have a design play like that. Sometimes a guy's supposed to move on to the next level, have to do it a lot sooner, especially if he's already engaged.
Costly penalty. It's 1st down at 21. What a wonderful defensive play. Winston Wright was tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Reggie Stubblefield, coaches were gushing about him, and he makes a splash play.
And you could see why right there. It's the recognition. He sees what's happening. Believe what you see is what coaches tell you as a defensive player, and he fights through the block and makes the tackle, showing the emotion right there. He is absolutely loving it. And he was recruited initially as a cornerback and playing more of a hybrid position now. Very physical player.
And incomplete, out of bounds, was Letty Brown when he caught the football. As Stubblefield was a guy transferred from Prairie View A&M, wanted to see if he could play Big 12 football, and couldn't get on the field as a corner, but they basically just created a spot for him as what they call the dollar.
Yeah, the dollar, and we know with the evolution, you got nickel, you got dime, they got that dollar position back there, a hybrid position, and you could see he's the kind of guy they just had to find a spot for, and you could see why right there.
3rd and 23. Caught and immediately tackled is Sam James. So that buys him a little bit of room. And it's 4th down. The punt team will have to come on. It's a gain of 7.
Yeah, and that's all you're looking for right there. A little short gain. little field position, but you have to be careful. You have some dangerous return men. We've talked about that. Coming in, Phillip Brooks back there. He's taken one back for a touchdown already.
So Brooks awaits the punt from Tyler Sumter. Oh, it's blocked! Loose! Kansas State! Touchdown! Oh, that was just a jailbreak.
Remember, everybody used to talk about Beamer ball, and of course, now it's Chris Kleiman. But under Bill Snyder as well, Kansas State has been one of the best in the nation producing non-offensive touchdowns. You're right, just an absolute jailbreak right there. That protection right in the backfield just breaks down completely. Nice job taking the ball off of the toe of the punter and converting it into 6.
Ty Bowman, a clean block picked up by Marvin Martin. And the touchdown. Extra point is good as well.
Trick
it's
shot.
A 14-0 lead for Kansas State. Wonderful start for Kansas State. Special teams have been a thing at Kansas State for many, many years now, and it just results in a touchdown. A couple of freshmen combining for a huge game-changing moment. Ty Bowman got the block. Marvin Martin picked it up and gets the score.
Yeah, we see in the NFL so many times players that are trying to make teams. You're not in that starting unit. You earn your stripes in special teams, and those young players, they make those big plays like that. Opportunity to contribute in the third phase of the game.
Now it's time for today's celebration moment, sponsored by Allstate. Who's going to be celebrating today? Well, I think it's Kansas State early.
Man, that's a huge play right there. After that first drive that they had, they drove down the field, stalled on their second drive, but right there did a nice job defensively and then blocked that punt. And West Virginia finds himself in a similar spot than they had a week ago against Oklahoma State. Fell behind early in that one. I think it's going to be very important that they stay patient and try and keep that offense balanced, especially with a guy like Letty Brown. Got to try and feed him the rock.
So West Virginia down 14-0. Strong run, really nothing was there, but Letty Brown made something out of it. Gain of 3. Passing game has been close to non-existent right now for West Virginia. They've completed just 3 of 7 passes for 12 yards. 3.5 remaining in our first quarter. Completion. Another short gain, but that may be close to the line to gain. Looks like that's going to be enough for the first down. Sean Ryan with the catch. Daniel Green with the tackle. And there's a flag down.
Personal foul, targeting, defense number 22. Play is under review.
Daniel Green, middle linebacker. He has been ejected from 2 games this year because of targeting penalties.
Boy, this is not a guy that you want to lose in this one. You can see him lower the head right there. Obviously not a defenseless player, but anytime that you make contact with the crown of the helmet, you can get called for targeting. This one's going to be close. The head definitely comes down. It's going to be a question of if he makes contact with the crown of the helmet. And it looks like it's a glancing blow, helmet to helmet. I think that one's going to be hard to overturn, but I'm not the rules expert. Maybe we want to bring the rules expert in.
We got one
to discuss that.
It would be Mike Pereira. Mike, your thoughts on what we just saw here?
Well, again, Robert's talking about it right on target here. You're not talking about a defenseless player. You are talking about a runner here. So we're looking crown of the helmet. And that last shot that we just showed, I would have said conclusively that it was not targeting, but that last shot showed that there was some contact. Watch it coming up here.
Yeah,
and again, I think that's the one they're going to look at. Robert, there's no question he lowered his head. There's no question it was an attacking motion. So to me, that's the decision they're going to have to make. Was it crown? And was that contact more than just incidental contact?
Yeah, and Mike, the interesting thing about this one, because Daniel Green has already had 2 this year, this could be his third one and can cost him a game. Is that correct?
That's correct. So now you're talking about not just the rest of this game, but you're talking about another full game after that. So again, a key. Now, replay's not going to know that. I mean, and the officials that made the call
After
are not going to know
play,
that.
there is no foul for targeting. Result of the play is a first down.
And really, guys, I like it, you know, because there was some contact, but it wasn't like what we saw in the previous play, where it was just a blatant thing. This is somewhat questionable, and, you know, replay now has to prove that it is targeting. They have to confirm all aspects of it. And in this case, they didn't feel they could, and I think that's really the right decision.
And Mike, just for clarification, any contact with the crown of the helmet, or does it have to be what's deemed as forcible contact?
Has to be a forcible blow. You're absolutely right. Must be forcible.
Gotcha. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Wonderful stuff. That is a huge break for Daniel Green. If that had been enforced, we're talking him missing the next 107 minutes of football for Kansas State, because not only the rest of this game, but also next week's game, which is an important one against Baylor.
I mean, this is a guy that leads the team in tackles, and they just absolutely gush about how smart he is and all the adjustments, calling out the line stunts, everything that he does. Would have been a huge loss. Glad that that one was not confirmed as targeting.
Another catch for Sean Ryan. Gain of 14 on first down. The pass is complete over the middle. Winston Wright. Nice catch, and then paid the price. That's another first down for the Mountaineers.
You're going to see Wright break to the slant from the inside. Does a nice job. Hey, he knows that that hit's coming. You know, Chris Carter said it best. Going across the middle makes the great ones average and the average ones pathetic. But Wright did a nice job right there absorbing the blow.
Letty Brown. Daniel Green got right in that hole to bring him down after a short gain.
And this is exactly what this West Virginia offense needs. Down 14-0. Don't panic. Stick to your game plan. Stay nice and balanced. I think, again, thinking back to what happened a week ago against Oklahoma State, just never able to get things going. I think it's great that they're staying patient on this drive.
Brown down to the 28-yard line. Another tackle for Daniel Green. It'll bring up third down. Best drive so far for West Virginia in this first quarter was their very first. The drive ended on a tip ball interception. Neil Brown knows his team needs points. Didn't get a touchdown a week ago against Oklahoma State. Had to settle for just one field goal in 60 minutes. 3rd and 5.
Well, I think you're in 4-down territory here anyway. I think down 14-0, even if they don't get the first down here, they're going to go for it on 4th down.
And look at that play call. A run play off left tackle, and it loses a yard. Austin Moore, the tackle.
Just get that penetration on the defensive line for Moore. Sorry, backside on that one. Sneaks through.
If you're going to run that play on 3rd down and 5, that means you're going to go for it on 4th down, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, in this area of the field, you don't really lose that much, even if you don't convert. And down 14-0, again, you feel you need to go for it right now.
5 receivers in the game. Just a 3-man rush. Tons of time for Daggy. Oh, he doesn't get loose, and he's down. Eli Huggins. Kansas State gets it back. The 3-man rush got home and brings down Daggy.
Well, it's a great job in the secondary from Kansas State. They cover everything up, but a little bit surprised by a couple of things on this play. Number one, these receivers, see, you got a bunch of basically just little stop routes. You have to know that you are being covered, so you have to get moving. But then Daggy, the clock doesn't go off in his head. He has to understand, I can't stay back here. Quarterbacks need to have a feel in the pocket when it's just a little bit too long. You have to get moving on that play. He gets to the edge, maybe buys some time, and somebody might have been open.
So Kansas State already leading 14-0. They've got the football back. Joe Irvin, maybe this is his series. Irvin had a touchdown earlier in the first quarter. And it's second down, and we will not have another play in our first quarter. It has been all Kansas State through 15 minutes. They lead West Virginia 14-0. Second quarter in a moment. Let's partner for all of it. There's your first quarter stats, Robert Smith.
And the big turnover right there, leading in yards. But of course, you have the stat that's not shown on there, and that's the block punt. At third phase can make such a big difference in games.
West Virginia more yards, longer time of possession, but they've got a goose egg. Thompson on the roll, throws it out of bounds. It'll bring up third down. Kansas State, they've been riding that roller coaster this year. Won 3 in a row, lost 3 in a row. Currently on a 3-game winning streak. I think it tells you about a team is when you can lose 3 consecutive games and then bounce back and then win 3.
Yeah, and it really doesn't surprise me knowing Chris Kleiman and his background from North Dakota State. Just this staff been able to keep most of these coaches. I think they've only lost one coach over the last 3 years. And that's something that we saw with the previous regime with Bill Snyder.
Third down at 7. Thompson escapes the pocket. A flag is down. If the play stands, it'll be a first down for Kansas State, but I don't know.
There's a penalty flag on the play.
Skylar Thompson doesn't feel too optimistic as he's walking backwards.
The writing, read the writing on the wall. I think he knows that there was a hold in there.
Holding, offense number 71, 10-yard penalty. It's third down.
Logan Long, one of the backup tackles who normally rotates in, getting some playing time here in the second quarter.
You can see Logan Long right here, engaged. And you see that arm up high on the shoulder pads. And then when Thompson takes off, you're going to see the defender go to the ground. And they're always going to call the hold right there. And we all know you can call holding on a lot of plays. But whenever you get that arm extended up like that and that shoulder pad up like that, and then a quarterback takes off and you tackle him, yeah, they're going to call that.
3rd and 17. Tons of time for Thompson. Nobody open. And he's going to go out of bounds and look to fight another day, and that may be a penalty. Thompson got hit late. It's actually the second time in 2 weeks he's been hit late just trying to get out of bounds. Josh Chandler-Samito got him, and there's no penalty flag on the ground, but that was awfully darn close.
Yeah, that was really close as he's getting to the sideline, and as you mentioned, Chandler-Samito gets the push. And yeah, he really started that push, and I think because he continues to run and jumps over the bench, it probably looked a lot worse than it was. I think he barely touches him as he's going out of bounds. That was a close one. I don't think that was an egregious play by Samito at all.
Last week, Kansas State, their game against Kansas, Gavin Potter, a late hit on the sideline of Skylar Thompson, and K-State wasn't too happy about that. Zentner. That goes off the helmets, and the ball to be down inside the 25-yard line. Well, Kansas State riding that roller coaster. They've gone streaking all season long. First 3 games, great start. Take down Stanford, Southern Illinois, Nevada, and then conference play started.
Yeah, Southern Illinois, by the way, number 9 in FCS this year, so they're no joke as well. But you talk about it. This is a team that can manage those ups and downs, come back out and play some good football. Obviously already bowl eligible, and Chris Kleiman, the first coach in Kansas State history to be bowl eligible first 3 years. And of course last year was a little bit different with the COVID year, but still nice to have that in the statistics.
Yeah, they'll tell you that they have a lot more on their plate though than just bowl eligibility. West Virginia, first possession here in the second quarter. Lenny Brown tackled by Reggie Stubblefield. Stubblefield's been influential here in our first half. He plays with a bounce, doesn't he? Look at the guy, man. You get jazzed.
Oh, he plays with some intensity. You can see it right there. Even after the tackle on Brown, just kind of flips his arms up. That guy just ready to play.
quick hitter. This is Brown out in space, and Letty Brown, good pass catcher with some wiggle. He's got a first down for West Virginia.
And we talked about it. Get the ball into Letty Brown's hands. He's lined up on the outside. Get your playmakers the ball in space and let them work their magic. Letty Brown, the way that he is running the football and the way that he's catching it and running after the catch, I think he's going to break one today. That's just the way that he operates. It's those collective body blows that he provides.
Traditional handoff to Brown, and that didn't fool anyone. Felix Enudike Uzama. First time we've said that glorious name.
And it is a glorious name. One of the national leaders, or the national leader in sacks. You're going to see him lined up on the edge, being double teamed right there, but does a nice job fighting off, cutting back into the cutting back to the inside, and getting Brown before he's able to start that spin. That's where that length as a defensive end is so important.
And Enudike Uzama, relentless. The coaching staff just praising him to the nth degree. Pass is incomplete. Looking for Ford Wheaton.
Yeah, and they doubled Uzama again. Enudike Uzama, here he is on the edge. You're going to see him get double teamed here on the edge. That's going to provide some opportunities. Oh, this is back to the run play, but he was double teamed on that last pass play as well. That's something that you're going to see from this West Virginia offense a lot today. They're going to try and double him up. That's going to provide some opportunities for other members of that defensive line or that second level of the defense to blitz and get home.
Just a three-man rush, and Daggy takes advantage. He has got a first down. On third down and 12, they pick up the first down. Bryce Ford Wheaton with the play.
Talk about his athleticism, but he understands defenses as well. He's going to do a nice job just sitting in this zone. Daggy does a nice job on the delivery right there. Ford Wheaton, he's an incredible athlete. Made one of the best catches I've seen all year against Iowa State earlier in the season. Had a tough drop, though, against Oklahoma State a week ago.
Back to the ground, and Letty Brown. Patient run, and look at him scoop. He has got the first down when it looked like there was absolutely nothing there.
Some people say that it's a deliberate run. This is a guy that just runs like he's mad about something. I just love to see this. Look at him drop the shoulder right there. Keep those legs driving, but the most important part, protecting the football. You feel that there's a second defender coming in. Get two hands on the ball. Love seeing it from Letty Brown. We'll be back after this. Well, this is why these offensive linemen wear these knee braces. You can see left tackle Brandon Yates on this play. He just gets that right leg extended a little bit. And then Eli Huggins, defensive lineman for Kansas State, just kind of falls into that leg, and then everybody crumples over him. Those offensive linemen, bodies flying around all the time. He was able to get off the field. Hopefully he's going to be okay and back in the game.
Ball is knocked away from Letty Brown. That was sniffed out beautifully. Russ Yeast has had just a tremendous first half. He's been everywhere defensively.
It's just like you said earlier, he's rising to the occasion. A great job with the recognition again. What is it the offense is trying to do? Believe what you see and trigger on the football. That's exactly what you saw from Yeast right there. He might have been able to pick that one off. That one might have been 6 for him, but he wanted to go for that stick.
Yeast started.
That's just that attitude. Some of them guys, you know, they want to get them big hits on film.
Second down and 10. Jaquay Hubbard has come in. He's the new left tackle for West Virginia. Short pickup. Pass complete to Reese Smith. First time we've called his name. That is just the 5th catch of the season for the redshirt freshman from Danville, Kentucky. It's actually the same hometown as Russ Yeast, the defensive back who keeps making plays.
Well, this Kansas State defense has really done an excellent job, because this is a deep receiving core for West Virginia.
Third down and 3. Plenty of time on that play clock. Daggy, incomplete. through late over the middle, trying to get it to Smith again, and it's incomplete.
And defending on the play, number 31.
Boy, there's all kinds of pressure coming from this right side of the offense. Doege gets rid of that thing, and we talked about this before. Gets a little bit sloppy with his feet, but that time had someone draped around his feet. Dangerous throw right there, though. McPherson almost picked that one off.
So on 4th down and 3, the kicking team will come on. Casey Legg has been phenomenal until right there. The kick is missed by Casey Legg. He had been 15 for 16 on field goal attempts.
The announcer's curse strikes once again. West Virginia can't convert. Maybe because Eric Collins had to throw in his streak.
Play ball.
The Ohio State University.
One of the great tailbacks in the history of that university.
Well, I still remember that big run in the Sugar Bowl against Alabama to knock that, to kind of put that game out of reach. It was a tremendous run, and he's really trimmed down this year as well. He's done a great job with his offseason conditioning, come back and doing a nice job.
With Robert Smith, I'm Eric Collins. Kansas State, the lead and the ball, up 14-0. 10:27 remaining in our first half. Deuce Vaughn, double Deuce Vaughn, gets to the 35-yard line, but no more. Exree Lowe makes the tackle. Kansas State has 60 fewer total yards than West Virginia, but they've been able to punch in a touchdown, and they've also got a touchdown on special teams. And yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah, that's huge. And hey, just win on the scoreboard, right? Those are the points that matter the most, the numbers that matter the most.
Over the middle, it is caught. That's the tight end, Nick Lenners. First catch for Lenners. And a first down for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and defensive coordinator Jordan Leslie dials up a little bit of pressure here. You're going to see Josh Chandler-Samito come free on this one. Skylar Thompson does a nice job. Knows he's going to take a hit on that one. Stays and makes a nice delivery to Lenners. Lenners does a nice job just sitting down. And they talk about him. He's more of an old school inline tight end. But you can see right there has a nice understanding of where to sit in those zones.
Back to the ground at Vaughn. And West Virginia's figured that out. It'll bring up second down. Well, last year, game between these two teams, Deuce Vaughn didn't have much success at all. As a whole, Kansas State didn't have much success. That game was in Morgantown, and West Virginia won going away.
11 touches total in that game a year ago. He only had 23 yards. And on cue, the graphic comes up. Awesome.
Like a hand in the glove, man. Working together. Second down and 8. Delayed handoff to Vaughn. And again, sniffed out. Nothing's fooling West Virginia on this drive at least. Jared Bartlett with the tackle.
Yeah, and defensive coordinator Jordan Leslie, I was asking him, because you hear this all the time, like, yeah, he's a small guy, 5'6". Obviously, it's a lot different. It's a much different size that you normally have, but it's really on the defense to trust the structure of the defense. They know where they're trying to force a runner to go. So even if you can't locate them, just understanding the structure of the defense, that gets you into the right place. You really have to believe in your coordinator, but also in your teammates.
Third down and 8. Thompson. Complete. That'll be another first down and then some. Phillip Brooks. Big gainer on third down. It's a pickup of 20.
With the tackle number 6,
Kansas State offensive line doing a tremendous job providing time for Skylar Thompson right there. You can see West Virginia had some players lined up, but they dropped those guys back into coverage. Thompson does a nice job locating Brooks, staying patient in the pocket, but you can't do that if you're not getting the protection. So the big guys up front getting it done today for the Wildcats.
More yards in the air on that play alone than the entire first half for Kansas State offensively. Thompson throws across his body and he short hops it, trying to get it to Joe Irvin, who is his safety valve. It's a dangerous pass for a safety valve, trying to throw it 30 yards across the field.
Yeah, and we see once again it's going to be Josh Chandler Samito coming in on a blitz, getting to Thompson just a little bit late, not flag worthy certainly, but a little bit late on that hit. But you can tell that this is what West Virginia is trying to do. They've had Samito in there a couple of times, bringing him as the fourth rusher.
Almost picked off. Charles Woods, man, right in the midst.
Defensive coordinator Jordan Leslie said the word for Charles Woods: hungry. He's a guy that's hungry. If you're hungry, come on, man, feed yourself. You got to eat. You got to pull that one in. And we hear it so many times. Defensive backs are playing defensive back because they can't catch the ball. Would have been a tough catch, but you got to close those mitts and make that one if you're Woods. Great opportunity missed right there, but gets them to 3rd and 10.
Here's Vaughn. Can't make the first man miss. What an open field tackle that was. Good golly. Wonderful play by Young. Second time we've seen him make a splash play. Scotty Young, the transfer out of Arizona, saves the day.
And Scotty Young lined up here, and you're going to see him fight through the block. But again, it's the recognition. What are they trying to do? It's 3rd and 10. They're probably going to be going to some kind of screen action. Ben Adler's offensive lineman, the guard, trying to get out in front of that one. But Young wasn't having it. Slips underneath it. Makes a nice open field tackle.
So it's a completion, but a loss of 7. And the punt team has to come on. And the ball bounds at the 5 and down. Wonderful special teams. A couple of the Wildcats collide, but it's going to be wonderful, wonderful special teams play and awful starting field position for West Virginia. .603 remaining second quarter. While downing this punt, Kansas State's Sincere Mason takes a shot to the left leg and was down for a while, and he had to be helped off the field. So we'll keep an eye on that. If we get an update, we will pass it along.
Yeah, that's a brutal one right there. You can see that leg really just buckle. Not too happy about that.
Ball starts on the 5-yard line and it's double field. Thought he had a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Tackled the wrong ball carrier, but it still is a negative play. Daniel Green tackles Dagey. Stubblefield thought he had a tackle.
Boy, he's aggressive. Believe what you see. Go for the hit. And he tries to get it right there, and Dagey trying to get it onto the edge, but he's got to be careful, and he does really a nice job protecting the football. Daniel Green able to make a play. It's great to have Daniel Green. Of course, a play that was called targeting and reversed. Kansas State needs him on that side of the ball.
Dagey. And the throw is high. Russ East again in coverage. Now, West Virginia, it has been a long time since they experienced the ecstasy of a touchdown. 18 straight possessions without a touchdown. That's the longest active streak in Big 12.
And to start this drive where they are on the field, and now to be in 3rd and 10, you have got to be careful right here. And if I'm defensive coordinator Joe Klanderman from Kansas State, I'm dialing up some pressure. Why not try and get home, get 2 or 6?
15-yard line is the line to gain. Dagey from his own end zone. Confident ball, but it's incomplete. He was looking for Sam James, and it's a 3-and-out.
When James is going to break across the middle of the field, and you're going to see him lined up in the slot right here. And he's going to have an opportunity here. It looks like Doege just threw that ball. He threw it back in the other direction. He's really trying to keep James away from Daniel Green on that one, but just a little bit too much. If you're going to make a throw like that the wide receiver isn't expecting, you have to take a little bit off of that and bring that down a little bit.
Here comes Phillip Brooks. He's got room. Brooks inside the 35 to the 32. Wonderful starting field position for Kansas State. All right, this is how we've got to this 14-0 score. It started on defense for Kansas State to pick by Yeast.
It was the pick ball. Our man Yeast making the interception, and then it was a 6-play, 55-yard drive capped off by the run for Irvin, and then special teams making a big play with the block punt and taking it in for 6 for Kansas State.
I can't get over the way that Marvin Martin just snapped that ball out of the air. Didn't like he tried to scoop it. He just caught it with his 2 hands like a vice grip. He earned that touchdown.
He's been practicing that one.
Deuce Vaughn. He just explodes through the hole. Down to the 20. All right, Robert, big question for you. All right, Deuce Vaughn, we keep talking about the fact he's 5'6". You were one of the taller tailbacks during your day, 6'2". Is there any benefit to being a tall tailback as opposed to being a smaller one?
I don't really think that there's any benefit to being a tall back, and you don't really see a lot of them. Derrick Henry at 6'3". Most of the backs that are my height or slightly taller, not many taller ones, they're 230 plus.
Seems like it would be a fantastic advantage to be small. Hard to get a hold of. And they get a hold of him here. Right at the line of scrimmage, actually behind the line of scrimmage. Akeem Mesidor, that's a loss of 2.
Yeah, and they said nobody was really recruiting Deuce Vaughn, but knew he's a father as a coach who's now a scout for the Cowboys, and he just popped off of the film. But then when you sit down and you talk to him, I mean, that's where everything changes, or I shouldn't say changes for them, because it just solidified what they already knew about the guy. Yes, he's a player, but he's such an inspiration for this team and is an example for these younger players. This is a guy that just loves football, and his attitude is infectious. These guys just gravitate towards him. But more than that, just a great player, all-around great player. You see, he just plays with such a high level of intensity.
Akeem Mesidor being helped off the field.
Yeah, and Mesidor, you know, along with Stills along that defensive line, big, fast, physical defensive line, and Kansas State doing a pretty good job today, I think, not only running the football, but protecting Skylar Thompson. Normally, we've seen them get home with 3 as a defensive front. They haven't done it a lot today.
And again, right at the line of scrimmage, Vaughn is tackled. Dante Stills makes the play this time.
And Stills, he's got, you talk about him being an NFL guy, a Sunday guy. He's got that first step quickness and shoots through there absolutely untouched. And that's certainly not the way that you draw it up. He's one of those guys, you just have to know where he is. And whatever the blocking scheme is, you better make sure that you handle the Dante Stills portion of the blocking assignment first and foremost.
Number 22 is tackled by number 55. 3rd down and 11. Wildcats need to get to the 10. And that's not going to get them there. Tyrone Howell with the catch. First catch on the afternoon for Howell. And it's 4th down. Is this a field goal situation for K-State?
It is a field goal situation for K-State, but I'm only saying that because I saw the field goal unit running on the field, so I knew that for sure. But you're up 14-0. Why not make it a three-score game? Just get the points. You don't want, no need to go for it on 4th down in a situation like this.
And something that's a factor as well is because Neal Brown and West Virginia started the game on offense, Kansas State, they're going to receive the second half kickoff.
And your defense is playing extremely well.
Yeah, West Virginia trying to win on the road, and it hasn't been easy since 2020. So the last 2 seasons, just 1 win on the road. That was of recent vintage, though. That was at TCU. But yeah, 1-7 away from Morgantown. Neil Brown has that high on top of his priority list to turn that one around. Chris Tennant comes on. Not a lot of opportunity for Tennant so far this year. He just became the #1 in recent weeks. 32-yarder. You betcha. So the shutout continues for Kansas State. They've expanded their lead to 17-0. Let's see if the Mountaineers can do something when we come back.
Eric and Robert, back to you.
Manuel, thank you so much. All right, West Virginia, this is probably their last opportunity to get something done here in the first half.
Probably going to be that last opportunity, certainly in the first half. And, you know, it's really surprising when you think about what travels. And I know that they're the highest percentage in the Big 12 of passing, but run games tend to travel well. And this is a team that certainly can run the ball with Letty Brown, just have not been able to get things going. But credit this Kansas State defense. They've done a tremendous job up to this point.
And this equals their best starting field position of the half. They have started at the 25 or closer to the goal line every single time. And they've got a whole bunch of nothing. This is what misery looks like. You got that pick. You had one of those punts blocked. You failed to get it on downs, and then the missed field goal. And I'll add that all up, and you got 0 in the scoring column.
Yeah, and again, this is a team that struggled so mightily against Oklahoma State a week ago, and not taking anything away from Kansas State. They don't have the personnel defensively that Oklahoma State has, but they're just playing their tails off. It shouldn't surprise anybody.
Delayed handoff to Letty Brown. And West Virginia, they've got 2 timeouts to work with, so they don't necessarily need to be in any kind of hurry. But you need to get better chunks than 2 yards.
Yeah, and they don't seem like they're in any kind of hurry, and they don't seem like there's any level of intensity. I mean, there's got to be some urgency about you. This is where you huddle on the sideline and say, "Hey, this is our time as offense. Let's go."
Green continues to just wallop these Mountaineers. Winston Wright is tackled before the line to gain. It'll bring up 3rd down. Daniel Green, actually call him Deuce, but I've been confused with Deuces all day long, so I'm not going to go there.
He's the other Deuce, the 22 on the defensive side of the ball. But they talk about the way that he plays fast. You could see it right there. I mean, he just diagnoses things so quickly. And he's got such great closing speed and just physical too. He's a pad popper. You can always hear it.
3rd down and 3. Just a 3-man rush. Daggy caught. Oh, that'll move the sticks. That was much needed. Bryce Ford Wheaton, a 1st down. Clock stops temporarily. 1:33 remaining in the half.
And it's just going to be a simple type drag pattern, and does a nice job. And this is what you want to do. 3rd down, you get those man-to-man situations and catch them on that drag route.
Letty Brown met with force. Cody Fletcher makes the tackle. Clock moving, 1:20 and dwindling.
Now you see that urgency. Come on, you got wide receivers got to get back and got to get set.
Daggy, another completion to the 30-yard line. Down to the 27. Sean Ryan with the grab.
Sean Ryan.
And there you go.
Tackler number 19, Ross Elder.
Nice job. They're doing exactly what they needed to do on this drive. Now get yourself to the line of scrimmage, get set, and finish this drive.
Blitz, it's picked up. Daggy, nobody home. Lives to fight another day. 55 seconds remaining here in our first half. We told you about West Virginia and Neil Brown's quest to get touchdowns. Didn't get one last week against Oklahoma State. Knocking on the door here. They don't want to settle for 3.
And they shouldn't settle for 3. I mean, and again, not taking anything away from this Kansas State defense, but this is a wide receiver core in particular for West Virginia that is so deep. These guys have got to get some separation and give Daggy an opportunity to get them the ball.
Fakes to Mathis. Daggy dives at the 21. That's not enough to get the 1st down. And West Virginia has to call a timeout because that clock was really moving. West Virginia with one timeout remaining. Stick around. We've got the State Farm halftime show. A busy mid-November day in the world of college football.
Getting funny. We're getting Rick-rolled. Are you kidding me?
You're right, Rick Ashley.
we're getting Rick-rolled during the broadcast here. You can see 40-degree, chilly day.
I always get a kick when you're in college campuses and they're playing Rick Ashley, which was kind of a modest hit 30 years ago, before these kids were even born.
Yeah, but with TikTok and YouTube, everybody has their fun with that one.
It's like going to a game and seeing Mel Torme or something like that when we were back in college.
Well, look at this. This West Virginia offense has more production from a number standpoint than Kansas State today, but this is huge right here. Look at Jarret Doege on this drive. 4 for 5, 46 yards. They have got to finish, though, and get some points on the board, preferably 6.
Here comes pressure. Blitzers picked up. Doege incomplete. In the direction of Winston Wright.
Everything set up on that one. They bring a 5th blitzer. They bring a blitzer with the 5th rusher. That gets picked up. Doege has got to make that throw. Get your feet set and make that throw. Too high, too far to the outside. That's completely on Jarret Doege. Everything was as it needed to be from that offense.
All right, Casey Legg missed a field goal earlier in our first half. And this one is center cut. So West Virginia is on the board. Took them 29 minutes to get it done. We'll take a quick timeout. Be back for the final ticks of our second quarter in a moment.
It's brutal out here.
Well, the Mountaineers finally on the board. They get a 3 spot courtesy of Casey Legg. 17-3 is our score. And unless something goes sideways on this kickoff, I can't imagine Kansas State getting too aggressive with limited time remaining before halftime.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the Mountain Man, they're taking it easy on him. He's only done 3 push-ups today. They got to make that guy get to work. He's on the road, relaxing.
Little squibber. All right, what do we got here? Ball at the 36-yard line. All right, so Kansas State will trot their offense out. And unless they pop something, this will probably be the final play of our first half.
Yeah, a lot of times you try a handoff, you pop one, then maybe you try and operate some sort of quick offense and get down the field a little bit more. But if that first one doesn't go anywhere, you don't do anything. But you can see right here, they're lining up in the, it's not victory formation, just a kill the clock formation.
All right, so Kansas State, this will take the clock to zeros. They know they're going to get the ball to start the second half. So they're going to have a 14-point lead and possession of the ball when we start the third quarter.
Important for that West Virginia defense on that first drive of the second half. Total team football. Got to get that stop. Get that ball back to your own.
Kansas State leads West Virginia 17-3. Now we send it to LA for the State Farm halftime show. Getting ready to play second half action in Manhattan, Kansas. The homestanding Wildcats with a 14-point stiff arm on the visitors from Morgantown, West Virginia. With my partner, Robert Smith, I'm Eric Collins. We've talked ad nauseum about Kansas State on a 3-game winning streak. Robert, they're not playing great right now, but they seem to be getting every single break possible.
Yeah, and they're absolutely taking advantage of the breaks that they do get. And the little things matter, especially when you're on the road. So that's what has really been disturbing about what you've seen from West Virginia, especially coming off the game that they had a week ago against Oklahoma State. You thought that they'd be playing a cleaner and tighter football game.
All right, Kansas State, they're actually being outgained, but they lead because of these big plays.
And you talk about little things. You make that catch, and you got to gain inside their territory. Instead, it is an interception. And then Kansas State, 6-play, 55-yard drive, capped off by the Irvin touchdown run, showing how physical they can be. And then it's Wildcat football. Forget about Beamer football. Big special teams play right there with the block punt, taking it in for the touchdown.
Take a look at your numbers. We told you that West Virginia leading in total yards. It's really not close, but the turnover was huge. And the blocked punt for a touchdown. That's 7 easy points for Kansas State, so that's why they lead by a score of 17-3.
Yeah, and little things that don't show up in the statistics. Talk about that last drive that West Virginia had. Yes, they got 3 points out of it. They should have gotten at least another first down there if Jarrett Doege makes that throw on 3rd down. Again, Kansas State comes with the blitz, gets picked up. It's all blocked up. Doege has to make that throw. And those are the little things. It may not show up in the stats, but those little things, those little opportunities that you get, you cannot waste those, especially on the road.
Malik Knowles, 2 touchdowns on kick returns so far this year. 1 against Oklahoma State, 1 against Oklahoma. He's got a chance right here. Look at Knowles go across the 50 and out of bounds at the 35. A very patient return, and it is a huge return.
And you called it, partner. A great job blocking by Kansas State, and they get this cross return going. So they catch it on one side, and then the blocking is set for Knowles to come across the field. You can see right there, the kicker's doing his job. He's playing the safety. He wasn't real interested in any contact at the end there, but even if the other coverage person didn't make the tackle right there, the kicker was in good place to get run over or something.
It's a 64-yard return, and Kansas State point-blank range to begin our 3rd quarter. Deuce Vaughn stumbles forward. Exree Lee on the tackle. Vaughn in that first half, 13 carries, 49 yards as a rusher. Caught 1 pass and actually retreated. It was a 1 catch for -7.
Yeah, and really the West Virginia defense has done a pretty good job. We talked about the advantage in total yardage that West Virginia has. Only 121 yards now total for Kansas State, and they've done a pretty good job of bottling up the Deuce.
2nd down and 8. Thompson passes low but caught, scooped up by Brooks, and Brooks zigging and zagging has enough for the first down. Alonzo Adai and others with the tackle, but the chains will move for Kansas State.
That's just way too much space for this throw. The West Virginia defense playing way too soft and allows Brooks to catch that turn and get upfield. That's one of those kind of plays. You're playing in a soft zone like that. If a guy is going to be catching that thing, you got to be on him immediately. But you're just giving way too much space. 8 yards downfield, catches that one cleanly. Nobody around it.
Jackson Ean in at fullback. They pass out of this formation, and it's a short gain. Cade Warner, son of the Hall of Famer, with the catch.
Hall of Famer quarterback
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner, and he's there at the game. I don't know if any of the camera people have found him yet in the stands. He's probably he's up in the box. Relax. It's 40 degrees out there. He's up in the.
That's right.
He's oh no! Look at that! Oh, he's a man of the people. I apologize, Kurt.
He's still got those tough Iowa roots, man. He's not going up in any box. Best ever come out of Northern Iowa. Here's Deuce Vaughn, lowers the head and gets close to the 12-yard line.
And this is what Kansas State offensive coordinator told us. Courtney Messingham told us about Deuce Vaughn. Yes, he's small, 5'6", listed, 173. He can get those tough yards between the tackles, and we've seen that a couple of times today. Yes, they've done a pretty good job. West Virginia has of bottling him up, containing him for the most part, but he gets that ball between the tackles, and we've seen defenders on his back. He keeps those legs churning. He's been hitting that squat rack in the gym.
3rd down and 2, and they go with the 5'6" Deuce Vaughn. He's got the first down. He's tough between the tackles.
There he is. Does a nice job following his blocks. Nice and patient here, but he sees that opening on the backside. Nice little cut. Gets vertical immediately. And then, again, finishing forward. Does a great job with his pad level and body lean as he runs. And that allows him, with that strong leg churn, to get the extra yardage.
Vaughn still in the game, short yardage football here. And they give it on the end around. This is Malik Knowles. And Knowles to the 4, maybe the 3. Knowles has got good size. He's 6'3", 195 pounds. And so they thought that maybe he'd be effective close to the goal line.
Second and goal.
Kansas State, they've got those 2 touchdowns. One an offensive touchdown. Joe Irvin ran it in. The other touchdown they had was the blocked punt for a touchdown.
And that was a short, it was only a 55-yard drive that they had for that other touchdown. And again, that's all 3 phases of the game combining right here. We got man-to-man coverage, but they're going to hand it to Deuce right in the middle. This is huge for West Virginia here. The opportunity to hold this Kansas State offense right here to only 3 points, or a 3-point attempt, considering what's gone on in this game so far. A great job so far by West Virginia bottling up this Wildcat offense.
3rd down and goal. Kansas State started this possession with great field position because of the kickoff return. Thompson caught, touchdown, Sammy Wheeler. Skylar Thompson finds Sammy Wheeler back in the end zone, and the lead swells to 20.
A nice play design here by offensive coordinator Courtney Messingham. You're going to see Skylar Thompson hold on to the ball, look like he's going to run, draws up the linebackers just that little bit, and allows Skylar Thompson to sneak that ball in there at the back of the end zone.
So just a fantastic way to start the second half for Kansas State, looking for their 4th consecutive win. Great kickoff return, quality drive, and they finish it off with a touchdown. For all of it, Kansas State starting off this 3rd quarter in style. They march down the field and score a touchdown. And now the defense will come on and try and hold the fort against West Virginia. West Virginia has had a whole bunch of nothing for the most part offensively in today's game. Had not scored a touchdown in a full game and a half now. Returnable. Winston Wright. And Wright. This will be the best starting field position of the day for West Virginia. Hadn't been a great day so far for Jared Dagey.
Well, keep an eye on the feet for Jared Dagey. I think it's something that you need to watch for him. Happy feet, unhappy results. Doesn't get his feet set. Here, he hangs onto the ball just a little bit too long, but when he doesn't get his feet set for that throw, like this right here, you can see just been inaccurate at times. So he's got to settle down back there and really understand he's got to get those feet set for those passes.
Hand off to Letty Brown, and he is met out in space. Julius Brents makes the tackle. Dagey, 13 for 24, averaging about 10 yards per completion. Looking for that touchdown. At the end of the day, you need to get scores, and they just haven't done that. Last week against Oklahoma State, and this week through a half against Kansas State.
And here you can see they're going to go empty, trying to get that defense to declare.
Crossing route. Sam James, pickup of 8. Julius Brents, that long corner, pushes him out of bounds. Brents really fills out that uniform. He's listed at 6'4". That is almost unheard of for a cornerback. 6'4", 204.
That's the tall. we looked this up before the show. Somebody else looked it up before the show. 6'4" is the tallest that a cornerback has ever been in the National Football League. Hey, change of direction. That's why there are limits to how tall a guy can be at that position.
Letty Brown, first down and then some. Ball comes out late. And
Okay, there's number 4.
he's called down.
Yeah, he's called down on that one, and we know how physical Letty Brown is. And he did a nice job earlier in the game protecting the football at the end of a run, but you can see right there,
Yeah,
that's our man Yeast. Our man Yeast came up and swiped at that ball and knocked it loose from Letty Brown.
Caden Prather saved the day for West Virginia. Freshman wide receiver following the play, able to keep possession for the Mountaineers. Dagey caught. Oh, that was a real nice play. Prather, last 2 plays. First he picks up the fumble, and this time makes a catch in traffic.
Johnny on the spot. Nice job by Prater. It was a good job here. Dagey, you can call those one of those off-platform throws. You can see on the run right there. It just delivers an absolute dart to Prather.
Prather came into this game, not a lot of action, just 3 catches on the season. Getting some tick here to begin the second half.
A little bit of confusion.
5-man rush. Dagey goes on top of it. Incomplete. Looking in the end zone for Winston Wright.
A little bit of confusion, and Kansas State defense lining up a little bit late. Looked like Letty Brown was lined up on the outside. Get some man-to-man matchups, and you get that little scissor-type concept. One receiver going in, Ford Wheaton, and Wright goes to the outside. And yeah, you can see Jersey getting pulled a little bit there.
Referees being nice to the Elder. Ross Elder, the senior from Kansas City, Missouri, doesn't get whistled for what could have been a foul. Little pitch, and Letty Brown is met at the 20-yard line. It's going to bring up. Interesting decision here. 3rd down, West Virginia. Not desperate yet, but they need to get a touchdown. Probably 4-down territory, you would imagine. So it's 3rd down and 6. Don't necessarily need to be super aggressive. You can.
Yeah, you can certainly your entire run game is open on a play like this.
Line to gain is the 14. Dagey. Dart incomplete. That thing had some zip on it, and it's now 4th down and 6. Sam James unable to handle that fastball.
Yeah, Jared Dagey does a nice job climbing in the pocket away from the pressure, but at this point, you got to play catch, man. You got to put that ball on him. You cannot deliver that ball with that type of velocity and that high to the receiver. Should he have had it? You know, if you're a quarterback evaluating it, you say, hey, he got his hands on it, he should have caught it. But as a quarterback, understand the situation. Just get the ball on him.
4th down and 6. They're going to go for it. And it is caught. This has been the drive of Caden Prather. He hadn't played a whole bunch at all this season, but on this drive, he's recovered a fumble, caught 2 passes, that one for a first down.
And compare this to the last throw from Jared Dagey. He does a nice job here, takes a little bit off of that and squeezes that ball in to a tight window. Precision at a premium right there, and he did exactly what he needed to do at a crucial time for this West Virginia offense.
All right, West Virginia, they still can get another first down without getting a touchdown. Letty Brown is caught right at the line of scrimmage by Cody Fletcher.
Defensive coordinator Joe Klanderman here for Kansas State did a tremendous job on that one. It's not just the calls that you make, it's the timing of the calls. What are you expecting as a defensive coordinator? You're expecting that first down runs, and you bring a huge run blitz and get free runners on Letty Brown, results in a tackle for loss.
Blitz is picked up. Dagey to the end zone, caught, touchdown. Reese Smith, that's the first touchdown in a month of Sundays for West Virginia.
Tremendous throw here. They do a nice job picking up the pressure, and look at Jared Dagey seeing the blitz from the edge. calmly eluding the pressure and putting this ball exactly where it needed to be for Reese Smith. Great job, Jarret Doege. Great job, West Virginia offense.
Doege trusting freshman on that drive. First it was Caden Prather, and then for the touchdown, it's Reese Smith. Youth being served in Manhattan.
See that R. Smith on the back of the jersey. Like, oh yeah, it's always a player when you see R. Smith on the back of the jersey.
A little slow-mo extra point, and it is true. How about Reese Smith? Jarret Doege, touchdown pass, Reese Smith, and West Virginia with some life once again. Yeah, West Virginia feeling it once again. It had been a long time since Jarret Doege and the Mountaineers had experienced the end zone. 21 possessions of fruitless football, but a touchdown, and all of a sudden, a pulse for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing where you get to the sideline with your coaches and offensive coordinator Gerard Parker and Neil Brown, your head coach, and they're like, hey, I told you guys, you do what you're supposed to do, and that's what can happen. Great confirmation for all the coaching tips.
And the kickoff goes out of bounds. That's a no-no.
Ball be placed at the 35-yard line. It's first down, Kansas State.
Casey Lake.
Yeah, and they've been having problems with that with the short kicks, and we saw with the Knowles return.
Kansas State touchdown last time they had it. Deuce Vaughn breaks the first wave. Look at that speed. Deuce Vaughn down across the 30. Daryl Porter stopped what would have been a touchdown.
Tremendous job up front, but then it's the acceleration of Deuce Vaughn. She gets Deneen as the lead blocker there and just escapes. I mean, some of these guys, they don't realize how fast Deuce Vaughn is going. It looks like they're in position like they're just surprised at his acceleration, and he's able to get it all the way into the secondary. Does a nice job covering that thing up. We saw the fumble earlier from Brown.
So the century mark once again for Deuce Vaughn. That by far his longest run of the day. 38 yards for the sophomore. Out of the backfield, Vaughn makes the first man miss. He's got another first down. This guy has got some scoot to him. Alonzo Adai thought he had him in his sights, but he didn't.
Yes, he does. He leaks out of the backfield here. Skylar Thompson does a nice job. Say, hey, just get the ball to the playmaker, let him work his magic on the outside. Does a nice job catching the ball cleanly, which gives him the opportunity to make a move after the catch. And he's so low to the ground, gets that hand down. That's one of the drills you do as a running back, that hand down drill. As you're losing your balance, you get that hand down onto the ground. Does a nice job protecting the football throughout that move and getting those yards.
Joe Irvin replaces Vaughn in the backfield. They give it to Irvin. He had a touchdown back in our first quarter, brings it inside the 10-yard line.
This is exactly what West Virginia did not need. To have that kick go out of bounds and then have this Kansas State offense operate the way that they have. We talked about the struggles that they've had recently with that offense, getting it into the end zone. They really needed their defense to step up on this drive, but a great job by Kansas State opening things up.
Gain of 5 on first down. Irvin brought down with some aggression. Josh Chandler Samito with the tackle. It'll bring up third down. Chandler Samito from Canton, Ohio. There's been some good football players over the years from Canton, Ohio.
And some good players enshrined in Canton, Ohio, too.
Only the best of the best in Canton, Ohio.
The gold jackets there, baby.
All right, Deuce Vaughn back into the game. Money time. Third down. Option. And that was not going to work. Going to the short side of the field, there was just no room to get that thing going.
Well, Scotty Young diagnoses this immediately. You're going to see Skylar Thompson. He realized, look, you're going to have a much better job carrying this ball than I will. But Scotty Young sees it, diagnoses it all the way. He knew exactly where that ball was going. Believe what you see and go make a hit. That's a defensive player doing exactly what he's supposed to do.
So the field goal team will come on. Chris Tennant made one back in our first half. And Tennant misses wide right. Oh, man. 25 yards. I guess the angle wasn't great. And Tennant comes up empty. Missed opportunity. Neil Brown from West Virginia pleased with the result.
What's that?
West Virginia, they catch a break. Kansas State knocking on the door. They have to settle for a field goal attempt. And the field goal attempt from officially 26 yards is off the mark. So no damage done. West Virginia has the ball back. They scored a touchdown. Last time they had it, maybe a bit of momentum. Pitch out Lenny Brown. And he gets half of the 10 needed on first down. Ross Elder makes the tackle.
And I can't tell. It looks like Lenny Brown might be a little bit banged up there. Look like he had a little hitch in the giddy up going back to the huddle right there. We'll see how it looks here moving forward.
Wright. And Wright picks up just a yard.
You see Lenny Brown get tackled on this previous play. The legs just caught up a little bit.
Ooh.
Oh, hit his head down on the ground there pretty hard too. But over on the sideline, but it doesn't look like anybody's evaluating him. The trainers don't seem to be looking at him right now, but he's just over there talking to his running back coach.
3rd down and 3. Tony Mathis is now the back in the game next to Dagey. Caught. First down. It's the kid again. Caden Prather. Have a second half, why don't you?
A great job, not just by the offensive line, but Mathis in the backfield as well, blocking this thing up. Nice little quick release to the inside and catch.
Dagey loads it up. Nobody home. Caden Prather came into this game with 3 catches. On the last 2 drives combined, he's got 3 catches. All of a sudden, he's become a weapon.
Well, you know, in situations like this, and this is what offensive coordinator Gerard Parker, you get into a game, and we talked about in the first half, Kansas State doing a good job in their secondary, but sometimes it's just receivers not getting separation, not giving Jarret Dagey any kind of space to make throws. So you go with younger players and say, hey, if you guys aren't going to do it, that guy over there will.
Just a 3-man rush. Passes high and unable to be corralled by Sam James. Again, Reggie Stubblefield in the mix. He's had a nice afternoon.
Yeah, he certainly has an excellent job on coverage on that one. And Jarret Dagey, that was if he threw that ball in a place where it could have been caught, number 1 right there probably would have caught it. You can see him doing that little signal with his hand too. He's like, I was that close to taking that thing to the house.
Kansas State wanted movement on that West Virginia line we play on. 3rd down and 10. Dagey. Ooh. It's caught, but well short of the line to gain. It's caught by Ford Wheaton, but it's going to bring up 4th down in the decision.
Boy, and Jarret Dagey just gets cut in half at the end of this one. Just a big-time hit. He took on that play from Daniel Green. Woo! Coming in, bringing the heat. Thankfully for Dagey, his feet were off of the ground on that one. Could have taken some real damage, and here they are going for it on 4th and 1. Or at least lining up like they're going to go for it.
Difference between the game clock and the play clock is 6 seconds. Lenny Brown, the deep man. Brown got get the first down. Oh, that was close to mandatory. Didn't want to give it back to Kansas State at that spot on the field. So West Virginia, they scored the most recent touchdown, and now they've got momentum driving for the second consecutive time. We've reached the fourth quarter. Winning time in Manhattan, 24-10, K-State over West Virginia. For all of it. No blood in the third quarter. Both West Virginia and Kansas State touchdowns. It is a 24-10 game. Kansas State trying to win their fourth consecutive game. But West Virginia, they've been playing better ball here. Let's take a look at the numbers through three quarters.
And you can see right there, they got the yardage advantage. Huge for them, though, keeping Kansas State from scoring with that missed field goal.
Pass on first down. It is incomplete. Looking for Caden Prather. Second down at 10.
And look at West Virginia. Look at that record, 4-5. They got to win 2 out of their last 3. They want to become bowl eligible. So a huge game for them. They got to fight their way back into this one.
West Virginia offense has woken up. Wide receiver screen. It's caught by Ford Wheaton. And he's got the first down and then some. That was a nice play on 2nd and 10.
They do such a great job on this tunnel screen. You're going to see Ford Wheaton on the outside, but you're going to see the linemen releasing downfield, and they can release downfield with that ball caught behind the line of scrimmage. You're not going to get that illegal man downfield. Did a nice job on that one.
Oh, we've got a man down for Kansas State. That's Jalen Pickle. We'll be back in a moment. Jalen Pickle just got inadvertently smoked. Number 93 for Kansas State got run into by Sam James, the wide receiver, and the wide receiver took down the defensive tackle. Looks like Pickle is going to be okay. He was able to leave the field in his own power.
Hey, basketball is a contact sport. Football is a collision sport.
First down at 10. Daggy. That may be his best ball of the game. He finds Prather, who spins down to the 6. Caden Prather, his 4th catch of the ball game, 32 yards.
This is the way that it's supposed to look. Great protection up front. Jarret Doege sets his feet perfectly, gets the perfect delivery to Prather, and Prather does a nice job protecting the football as he's going to ground, as those extra defenders get around him.
Prather, the freshman from Montgomery Village, Maryland, came in with 3 catches. He's got 4 here in today's ball game.
I don't know what the specific message was at halftime, but it was absorbed very well by this offense. They're looking completely different than they did in the first half.
Wide receiver end around right. That didn't fool anyone. McPherson makes the tackle.
You're going to see Prather lined up on the outside on this one. Nice job on the release, and just an excellent route. Snaps that one perfectly. You can't make that cut. You can't execute that route if you don't do everything technically perfect. And he drops the hips perfectly, threatening the defender, making him think he's going to go deep, but drops those hips, comes back flat underneath, and a great delivery again by Doege. Great combination of route running and execution and throw.
2 tight ends in the game. They both move from the right side to the left side of the formation, and a flag comes down. Right as that ball was snapped, a flag on the field. Again, McPherson making a play from his secondary spot.
Illegal shift. Offense had 2 players in motion, and both did not get reset before the snap. 5-yard correction. Kansas State has elected to decline the penalty. It's 3rd down.
TJ Banks, Charles Finley, the 2 tight ends, didn't do it properly when they went from the right side to the left side.
You're going to see them both go into motion here, and again, said they both didn't get set, which means one of them has to be set. They both have to be set before the player the next player goes in motion. You can't have all those guys moving at the same time. I didn't see a lot of movement from them, but they have to be set for a time before a player goes in motion that is not going to be set before the snap.
Well said, Robert Smith. 3rd down and goal. Letty Brown trying to blow up the pile. It didn't work. Kansas State, they hold their water, and it's now 4th down. West Virginia has converted their last 2 4th downs. Are they going to go for it here? I think Neil Brown says yes.
Yeah, you have to go for it here because, going down by 11 doesn't do you that much good if you kick a field goal in this situation. Considering the time left in the game, I think you go for it here, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Doege running out of time. Touchdown, Winston Wright. Oh, it looked like all was lost, but West Virginia again on 4th down.
And it looked like Boydo was in perfect position to make this play. And look, it's 4th down. You've got nothing to lose. Yes, is this a dangerous throw? Yeah, but what do you have to lose? And Doege does an excellent job just buying time, leaving the pocket to extend the pocket, and then just floats that thing in there. And again, Boydo was in perfect position right there. Doege just throws a dart. A dart as in a throw into a dartboard, not a perfectly accurate throw. Just kind of lobs that thing in there to Wright to make the completion.
So it is a 7-point game. Neil Brown, the Riverboat Gambler, goes for it on 4th down, and the Mountaineers pay it off. You could make the argument that Jarret Doege and the West Virginia Mountaineers playing for their season right now, what they've done here in the 2nd half.
Yeah, and they're executing like they believe their season is on the line. Just a tremendous job on that last play. And Jarret Doege, for all of his struggles in the first half, mechanically just getting the ball where he needs to get it, in this 2nd half has made some tremendous throws. And we're going to take a look at that last one.
Malik Knowles out to the 37-yard line.
Well, you're going to see Winston Wright lined up in the slot here, and you're going to see Jarret Doege start to roll out. The issue with those rollouts is that eventually you run out of time, and the routes have gotten as far as they can go. But this is what makes this so great for me. Wright sees here that the defender Boydo has moved to the outside, and there's only one place where Jarret Doege can throw that ball. He understands it's almost like a back shoulder type concept. Look, the defender has his head turned the other way. I need to throw this back to the inside. You're either there or you're not, and Wright was.
Now an important series for Kansas State. They lead by 7 and didn't mean to. That was a Skylar Thompson. Whoops. He tried to stop his throwing motion, and the ball just slipped out. 2nd down and 10.
Well, bad timing for a mechanical issue like this, but you're absolutely right. And this can just happen. Sometimes the quarterback thinks that they want to pull that ball back, or they see something has gotten in the way of the motion, and they see something flash and just decide they want to try and pull that thing back. But especially as it gets colder, it's harder to grip that ball without gloves.
Deuce Vaughn. And Deuce Vaughn falls across the 40-yard line. And for the 2nd time today, Deuce Vaughn has gone over the 100-yard mark.
Yeah, he went past it once, backed up a few yards. It was the milestone so nice he had to do it twice. He went below 100, wanted to get back up there. This is payback for what happened a year ago when he had 21 touches for only 23 yards. Said, that's it. I'm going over 100 yards twice on you guys today.
3rd down and 7. Wide open. Phillip Brooks. 1st down and more. Across midfield, and Kansas State is in business.
Nice job by Skylar Thompson. The offensive line did just enough to buy him the time on this one. Just a little fadeaway that he does, leaning back on this one. A slow developing route on that little drag concept from Brooks coming across the field. Thompson had enough time to wait for him to get open and to flash into his vision and make that throw.
All right, already up by 7 points. Now would be the time to get the running game in gear for Kansas State. Burn some clock, make this a shorter game. They choose to pass. Thompson down. Taj Alston jumped on him.
The quintessential coverage sack. Everybody covered up downfield. You see Skylar Thompson on the little play fake, on the half rollout. Looking, can't find anybody. Then he's going to decide to take off. Just a little bit too late. And Alston right there to fall on it and get that sack stat.
It's a -1, and it is technically a sack. So Alston will take it. That's number 5 for him on the year. Second down and 11. Joe Irvin is in the game at the tailback spot. Irvin, little flea flicker. They give it off to RJ Garcia. And Garcia, getting some playing time, is tackled in space by Josh Chandler-Samito and Daryl Porter. It's a loss of 3.
Yeah, Porter and Chandler-Samito will absolutely converge on this one for the old crunch. And what does that mean? That means that both of them were being disciplined on the backside of that play. Don't get fooled by that front side action. Know where this play's going. Know what the offense is trying to do and meet at the football. Great play defensively with the recognition, but then the execution on the tackle.
Weird spot on the field for Kansas State. 3rd and 14. If they get 10 or so, they may think about going for it on 4th down. Thompson. All right, they're going to get some down to the 38-yard line. That's Sammy Wheeler, who had the touchdown earlier in the second half. It's a gain of 7. And now Robert Smith, 4th down. What do you do if you're Kansas State?
I think that they're going to punt this one. I don't see them going for this right now. You don't want to put them on a short field. You're going to go ahead and punt this away, play the field position battle.
All right, well, we don't have to make that decision right now. We've got a timeout on the field. Back in a moment. A scary moment. Number 6, Exree Lowe, is hit by his teammate Jordan Jefferson. And Lowe was down for a good bit, but the great news is he got up on his own power and was able to make it off to the sideline. All right, we talked about it. Kansas State's going to go for it. On 4th down, they've been wildly successful this year, but this one's not going to be easy. It's 4th down and 8. Thompson. Caught! It's caught again by Wheeler! He's been nails! And Kansas State rolls the dice, and it's a beauty!
Just an excellent job on the recognition by Skylar Thompson, but look, when the placement is at an absolute premium, fits it in exactly where it needs to be, inside of the cornerback and underneath or in time with a perfect trajectory before the safety has a chance to get over. Just an excellent job all the way around.
Best pass of the day for Skylar Thompson. Deuce Vaughn, touchdown, Kansas State. What a massive drive for the Wildcats.
Doesn't get any better than this, finishing off a drive like that when you complete the big 4th down. We talked about it, running between the tackles. Offensive coordinator Courtney Messingham said, yeah, 5'6", 173 pounds, all heart, getting it into the end zone.
Tennant makes it a 14-point game. How about this 4th down play? Kansas State on 4th and 8. They go for it. Sammy Wheeler gets it down to the 4, and Deuce Vaughn scores to make it a 14-point game. Just a fantastic start to a career for Deuce Vaughn. Through their sophomore seasons at Kansas State, he is now atop that list of highly accomplished players.
And look at that list. I mean, that's an impressive list that you got right there. And again, they knew what they had as soon as they saw him. They knew no other coaches, no other teams were recruiting him. The son of a coach, which obviously means so much. You know what you're going to get. You sit down and talk to that guy, and they said when he showed up, he's just been that much better. And you can see it with the numbers right there.
All right, West Virginia, they now are back down by 14, but at least they've got a hot quarterback. Jarret Doege's played a lot better in the second half.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's been placing this ball exactly where it needs to be, making a much better, or doing a much better job, not only with his decision making, but his execution of the plays. This thing ain't over. It's college football. I know they're down 14. We've seen stranger things happen, but if they are going to be successful here, Jarret Doege has to continue his play similar to what he's played in the last quarter of this game.
How much of a hurry does West Virginia need to be in?
You got to be in a pretty good hurry right here, even with the timeouts.
Set up a little screen action. Lenny Brown tackled by Eli Huggins. Well, after starting exceedingly slow, these are the last 3 possessions for West Virginia. The one on top of your screen was actually at the tail end of our first half, but back-to-back touchdowns here in the second half.
Yes, and again, back to that point, you want to go high tempo here, up tempo, because you want to get that first score, and you're going to need to be able to stop them and use those timeouts if K-State gets the ball back. And that's assuming that you get down and get the touchdown in the first place. So you got to get that thing moving.
Yeah, you're not thinking field goal at all. That does you no good at this point in time. So Lenny Brown gets the first down. Chains move. Clock is moving. And West Virginia, they're not moving. They're taking their time right now.
Well, I mean, in a situation like this, you would think that they'd be in some sort of no-huddle up-tempo. You want to be able to get those plays called as quickly as possible and be in position.
And did the ball come out?
It did.
Ball came out. Kansas State says they have it, and they do. And it is Kansas State football. Reggie Stubblefield again.
Our man, Reggie Stubblefield, getting his first start in this game. And Lenny Brown had a fumble earlier in this game. And going into traffic, it looks like the cardinal rule, protect the football if you're a running back. Second part of that cardinal rule, 2 hands in traffic. You have got to get that ball secured to your body. You talk about points of pressure when you're carrying the football. You have to have the ball covered and into your arm, but you also have to have the ball secured against your side, especially when you're in traffic, because you can't give the defenders an opportunity to knock an unprotected ball away. Just the violation of the cardinal rules, a cardinal sin for a running back.
It cost West Virginia possession and possibly cost them the game. Kansas State's going to try and bleed the clock. They do it with Deuce Vaughn. Vaughn tackled by Alston right at the line of scrimmage. But right now, Kansas State already on the outskirts of field goal range. And the clock is going to go underneath 6 minutes.
And of course, they're going to bleed it. They're going to bleed as much as they can right here. And, you know, I guess your only hope, they don't, obviously you have to keep them from getting a first down, but then you're going to have to start burning timeouts as well.
And with a veteran quarterback like Skylar Thompson, he actually left a little bit more meat on the bone than I would have thought. He snapped it with 6 on the play clock. Deuce Vaughn is going to make it 3rd down and manageable.
You can see Deuce Vaughn right here navigating his way. And again, at 5'6", 173 pounds, not the biggest back in the world, but look at that little hesitation step right there. He does such a great job seeing where he needs to go, but trusting his speed because he has such tremendous acceleration, catching the ball on the outside, getting it done down near the goal line as well. Obviously not a big back, but all kinds of big heart on Deuce, wearing number Deuce.
3rd down and 3, and they give it to Vaughn, who's got the first down.
Oh, watch the little slide step, drags the foot on this carry. This is just so much fun to watch this guy run, and not just because he's a little guy, but just the little things that he does when he carries the football. Watch this little drag step that he does as he's making that cut right there. And it was just that little movement to the inside, that little hesitation step right there that froze the defender and allowed him to get that first down.
Robert Smith, you're an all-pro many times over in the NFL. Great running backs. Can you work on these skills, or is it all instinct that Deuce Vaughn has?
No, these are absolutely things that you can work on, because in a game it's much easier to react to something that you expect. And so in different scenarios, you train your body to react in different ways. So the things that you want to happen in the game automatically, you're trying to at least envision those things in practice. And the more times you get an opportunity to do those things at full speed, the better.
West Virginia has just used their first timeout. They have 2 remaining, but things are looking pretty darn bleak.
Mel. I played against Mel.
I grew up with him.
Did you? Well, no. So you could play? Were you on teams with him?
Basketball team, yes.
Oh, okay, but not the football team.
No, come on. Who plays football?
Yeah, I played against Mel, and you know, how about that Kenneth Walker? He's a pretty good little running back right there too. But it's been fun to watch Mel advance through the coaching ranks, and a couple other guys that I was at Ohio State with at the same time have done pretty well in the coaching ranks as well, with Mike Vrabel and Luke Fickell.
Oh, sure.
And now Eddie George is a coach at the college level.
Saw that, yeah.
All kinds of Buckeyes.
One last thing about Mel Tucker. He's from the same high school, Cleveland Heights High School, as Travis and Jason Kelsey.
Well, I knew that.
Comes from good stock.
Heights high!
All right, clock is moving. Kansas State try to win their 4th consecutive game.
From the 18-yard line.
They withstood a storm. West Virginia looked like they were left for dead in that second quarter, but they put up a fight, got within 7. And now Kansas State trying to twist this knife and finish them off. 3rd down and 5. They're already in field goal range, leading by 14. Skylar Thompson, first down, Wildcats.
Ball carrier number 7, Skylar Thompson.
And how fitting, Skylar Thompson with Colin Klein as the quarterback coach for this Wildcat team. And so many times Wildcat fans saw Colin Klein just do just that at crunch time, picking up the necessary yards for a first down. Just tough as nails, and really epitomizes what this program is all about. It's been so fun to watch this program, especially when you understand the story of Bill Snyder and the challenges that he made with Sports Illustrated, like the saying, "Hey,
worst program in America.
Well, if I don't get this thing turned around, you know, you can come back and write that one too." But then you see him looking down through the binoculars, and did such an incredible job of turning this program around, but handing over the reins to a guy like Chris Kleiman. It's just been tremendous to watch. I mean, I think at least it was an underdog story, but it's so much more right now. They want to win, but they want to win the right way, and they have the right guy to get that done.
West Virginia just 1 timeout left to work with. This is Irvin. That'll be a loss. Jackie Matthews on the tackle. And the clock is not moving. I didn't see the signal for the timeout. There it is.
They called the timeout. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and burn those timeouts.
So West Virginia is now out of timeouts. Well, what a day for Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn Over 100 yards once again. Our player of the game sponsored by High Noon Hard Seltzer, premium hard seltzer made with real vodka and real juice.
I'll say it again and again. 5'6", 173 pounds, but all kinds of heart on the small-statured man. Nothing small about this guy's game, though. And you can see it again, not just carrying that ball on the outside, but in between the tackles. What a tremendous talent he is, and to be able to play that position at that size, he's just so much fun and an inspiration to his teammates and to the younger players in particular. They mentioned on the team, guys just see him and they hear him and they watch the way he prepares, they watch the way that he practices, they watch the way that he studies film in every aspect of the game, and you can see what that does for him as a player.
Have to run the football here. West Virginia has no more timeouts. And now the clock will just run.
That there's an absolute size requirement for different positions. I mean, how many times did they say that about quarterback before guys like Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray were able to really transform the quarterback position? And you can see that the numbers right there speak for themselves. He's just doing all kinds of great things.
And a timeout is called by Kansas State as the play clock was winding down. One of the things I've noticed when looking at tape of Darren Sproles and Deuce Vaughn is, yeah, similar stature, but the running styles were different. Darren Sproles was a short strider, took a lot of itty-bitty steps. Deuce Vaughn actually runs a little bit more like a taller back. He takes up a whole bunch of yards with every gallop that he takes.
Yeah, and ultimately it comes down to how much ground you're covering, but they both did a pretty good job at that. And the thing with Deuce Vaughn, maybe even more so than Darren Sproles, is his ability to stop and start and to be able to make those lateral movements so quickly. We saw the one with the foot drag right there. Obviously not taking anything away from Darren Sproles, but just mechanically the way that he runs, it's so dangerous, because when you have a guy like that that can really, I guess, modulate his stride. I mean, he's a guy that can go side to side, that can do those cuts like that, but then opens it up into full stride that gets you to full speed even faster.
All right, 3rd down and 11. I still think the play here is to run the football. West Virginia's out of timeouts, and this will take off the most amount of time by running it. Yep, they run it. This is Vaughn, sticks a foot in the ground, didn't want to go out of bounds, and gets inside the 10.
I mean, that doesn't look like much, right? But the stop and the start and the lateral movement on that play, that easily could have been a 1 yard, 2 yard gain right there that ends up being a 5-6 yard gain. And it's just those little things that he does as a runner that allows him to do that. He's something special to watch. And it's funny. So I played for years against Barry Sanders, who obviously, anybody that's ever watched film of him, it's different now because the turf is different. Back then, that it's basically like putt-putt. It's like people. That's what it was like then. The turf now is different, and guys can't stop and start the same way. But he seems to be able to do it.
Field goal is good. That makes it a 3-possession game. Kansas State on top big. These are your Big 12 standings coming in today. They have not been updated. Oklahoma right now is in trouble against Baylor. Things are getting really interesting here, middle of November in the Big 12.
In trouble against Baylor? It is now 24-7 Baylor.
It's just been updated, 24-14. Bottom of your screen, Robert. Euclid Heights versus Cleveland Heights.
You're in the high education part of town, clearly.
1:59 remaining. Kansas State has taken a 17-point lead. All right, so West Virginia, Neil Brown and the Mountaineers they still are thinking about the rest of their season. They've got games against Texas and Morgantown, and then they'll go on the road to take on Kansas. Remember, they need to get to that magic 6-win mark for bowl eligibility. They're sitting at 4-5 right now, more than likely 4-6 unless a miracle happens.
Yeah, they've got their work cut out for them. But, you know, as we saw in this second half and talked about the string of quarters without a touchdown, they really did turn things around. I mean, obviously you credit K-State for slowing some of that down and scoring their own points, but it's clear that they have the talent. They're very close. But that's horseshoes and hand grenades, right? You got to go out and you got to and you got to execute on game day and win it. So I'm sure that they're happy that they showed flashes of it, but in those last 2 games, you got to go out and you got to do it.
West Virginia, they do not have any timeouts, so unless they go out of bounds or have that brief stoppage after a first down, the clock is just going to move. And if they give it back to Kansas State can just take a knee or two and the ball game would be over. Dagey somehow avoids the sack. Somehow avoids an interception.
Well, that clock wasn't running right there. That was a little bit. It should have been running right there. Of course, you're going to stop on the incompletion right here.
It was T. Denson who came in off the edge and had Dagey dead to rights, but somehow missed the tackle.
Did a little Houdini right there. Just kind of ducked his head. And was able to escape the pocket, and that one was almost picked off.
Ross Elder had his hands on it. Been impressed with the secondary for Kansas State in today's game. That's going to be enough for the first down. We've talked about Ross Elder ad nauseum. We've talked about Russ Yeast quite a bit. He had a heck of a first half. And we've talked about the dollar, Reggie Stubblefield. Stubblefield has just been dynamic, breaking up passes, helping out in the run game.
And you watch, there's going to be a strap.
Lost it, loose, and
picked up.
It's picked up by Wyatt Milam, who saves the day, at least for now. Nate Matlack forced the fumble, and Milam fortunate to keep the ball with West Virginia.
Big man on the spot right there. He didn't even fall on it. He was like, hey, pick this thing up and get myself a couple yards in the stat book.
He's a freshman. That may be the only time he touches the ball in 4 years.
There's the pick.
That'll do it. Cody Fletcher, the interception, and that'll be the ball game. Kansas State doubling their pleasure against West Virginia.
Yeah, it's not very often that you see guys with the neck roll making nice clean catches like Fletcher does right here, watching the eyes. Jarret Doege the entire time sneaks under that pass. Look at that, hands and everything. Even turned his body to make sure that there was no contact between the ball and the ground. Nice clean catch. He said, I get myself in a position, my hands have done their job. My body's got to turn a little bit here to secure this thing. Got the big hammer after that one.
2 interceptions thrown by Doege. Can't really blame him on that one. He was just trying to do something to make a play. And now Kansas State can just take a knee or hand it off, and this will be all she wrote. New quarterback in the game for Kansas State, Skylar Thompson. His day is done. Jaron Lewis is the quarterback, not Will Howard. Will Howard had been listed as the backup quarterback. He actually started in the game against West Virginia a year ago, and the West Virginia won in Morgantown, but this is Jaron Lewis.
Yeah, and you just give a young guy like this an opportunity to get on the field, get a couple live snaps. It may seem trivial to people that have never played the game, but just getting anything in an actual live game can be an advantage.
Well, that'll do it. Kansas State, it has been a while, but Chris Klieman and the Wildcats, they win against West Virginia for the first time in almost 6 full calendar years. It was December back in 2015, last time they did it.
Oh, they took advantage of the opportunities given to them, mostly by West Virginia in that first half. Remember, West Virginia had more yards than them in that first half, but of course, they were able to capitalize on the interception, on the block punt for the touchdown. They did what they needed to do in the first half, and they did what they needed to do on the key drives in the second half.
And we got something fun for you coming up next. It's going to be the Crypto.com Bridge Show with Emmanuel Acho, Devin Gardner, and Bruce Feldman. For Robert Smith, I'm Eric Collins saying goodbye, everyone.